Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the evening. Let me undo this little thing. Can you hear the rain out there? It's a rainy Southern California night. Rare thing. Let's see if we can put the microphone out there. Can you hear? You know, there's something really special about the rain. My wife and I are watching. We've always enjoyed together for decades um, television shows, and everything from way back in the day. We watched Seinfeld and Cosby and all those things before the innocence was lost, so to speak. um, and now we're watching The Crown. I know we're a little late. It's been around for a long time, but that was after Downton Abbey. And there's that one scene. We're just at the episode now. Hey, Ollie. We're just at the episode now where I just gave Ollie a bath. That's not the episode. Come here. Whoop. Nope. You don't want to come. And pull the glasses off. You want to come say hi? Say hi. There's Ollie the dog. Ollie. I just gave him a bath. He's kind of drying off. Well, it was a good episode. An episode where the Queen Mother is getting her new place in that castle up in Scotland. There's something about the rain out there that was really nice. So this evening it kind of has that feel to it as well. So I'm going to read a little bit more, another chapter of this book, The Gentle Art of Tramping, and then I'm going to go over one of the principles of the good life, just one. I've got a new configuration here since I've been working from home with this whole, global pandemic. I've been sent home to work, so Emily helped me set this up. You can see, got all the monitors going, everything like that. This right here is actually the Path of Wildness room. Over on if you go to my website, here it is, and to the home page, it'll pop up a little thing that says, you'll see there it is. Weekday meetings. Come hang out with me to discuss life, Monday through Thursday, 5:30 p.m. PST. Click here to learn more, and you click there, and there's a hyperlink. You can see. Click there. That brings up the hyperlink. This one right there. And you can co-join me in the room. Marcia says, the only series I've watched in a long time is Deadwood. It sounds like a cowboy. Is that a cowboy series? So, let's read a chapter from here. And I'm actually in the room right now. If anybody actually goes over there and pops in, you can actually, people can hear you to cycle around. Yes, cowboys. Cool. Cowboys are good. But not that way. I'm talking Brokeback Mountain. Okay, let's put that down, get that down. We'll put this over here. Here, I know, we'll put this over here. There we could, and we'll put YouTube. I wonder if I can do that, if I can put YouTube over there, and that over there. Can I actually go in and see the comments on this one? Let's see, can I do that? Can I arrange that so I've got, my website is over here on the left, the stream is over there, and then over here, I wonder if I go to the videos, will it show the one that's live right now? Maybe over here, your videos. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Live now. Let's open it up. It's going to give a nice feedback loop, I bet. Let's turn the volume down. And then I think if there's any comments, is there a way to break those out? Pop out chat. Yeah. That's cool. But for restore chat, there it goes. Okay, that's good. Now if you say anything, then I can see it over there rather than over there. But I mean, I must have a lot of bandwidth going on, right? Because I've got the room, and then I've got this, and this. That's a lot of bandwidth. So let's put that there, make that nice and stable. And let's read. But first, another sip of my plum wine. So the Gentle Art of Tramping, I've been reading this now for, this is my third or fourth chapter now. And the author, Stephen Graham, is slowly unfolding his thoughts about the tramping life, which is an old-fashioned term. This was like written in the 1920s, referring to like adventuring, as we call it now. Right, Ollie? The knapsack. It is wonderful how much you carry when it is for pleasure. Soldiers grumble like camels at the loads put on their shoulders. Under someone's orders, they shall march with packs on their backs to such a point today, to such another point. I'm just not good at reading this. Let me try this again. Maybe if I do it a second time. The knapsack. It is wonderful how much you can carry when it is for pleasure. Soldiers grumble like camels at the load put on their shoulders. Under someone's orders, they shall march with packs on their backs to such a point today, to such another point. So what is he saying? Is he saying when you're doing it for work, it's a burden, but when you do it for pleasure, it's not a problem? And I think this is a little poem. With your best foot first and the road a-slidin' past, and every bloomin' campin' ground exactly like the last. Doesn't sound attractive to me. The camel groans, the soldier grouses, but the gay tramp puts ever something more into his capricious rucksack for pleasure or profit. There's a hunk of tobacco. There's his favorite volume of poems, his sketchbook. His danger is in putting in too much and not putting in the right things. I assume he is to be equipped for sleeping à la belle étoile. I don't know what that means. I may mention, well, let's look it up. What does that mean? À la belle, doesn't that mean beauty? Étoile? Let's see. Under the beautiful star, in the open air at night, under the stars. Okay. I assume he is to be equipped for sleeping à la belle étoile, under the stars. I may mention one or two things he might overlook. First, the pack itself should be well made. I have found in the past that Germans and Austrians make the best rucksacks. Really? And even the best in London seem to be imported from these countries. The one I have now I purchased some years ago in Vienna, but I think it was the best to be found there. There were many shoddy ones about. The shopkeeper pretended that the one I chose was not for sale, and I spent 12 hours getting it. Not that it is remarkable, but it is a genuinely well-made article. Exterior pockets, which will not burst, are a necessity. Interior pockets are also useful. It's interesting to hear about a rucksack from, 100 years ago, because those are features that we would take for granted now, right? Just about anything you can get from REI would fit those measures. Oh, hi, Captain Canada. Good evening. Good evening to you. Wow, that video quality is really good. Hey, can you hear the rain? Camry safe with your smiley face. Can you hear the rain behind me? I'm pretty astonished by how good the quality is, although the lag is significant. You can't hear the rain? Oh, that's too bad. Okay, carry on. The worst of the interior of a rucksack is that after a while, everything in it gets mixed. True that. Spare boots and linen get sprinkled with coffee. Different foods mingle. Some paper wrapper bursts and the sugar spills over everything. Then writing papers, books, or notebooks get greasy. But this is avoided if one provides oneself with half a dozen cotton bags, which tie with tapes. If these are not obtainable at home, if you feel so disposed, you wash out these little cotton bags when they get dirty. So he's talking about getting little cotton bags to put your knickknacks in inside the bigger bag. I guess that makes sense. I kind of do that. I keep some of my stuff in my pack. And you can see my backpack. It's right over my shoulder, right there. Right over there by my helmet. That's the pack I use when I'm in the desert. You can hear the rain, Captain Canada. Cool. I've got headphones on, so that might help. Yeah. Let's see how Ollie is doing. There's Ollie boy. Ollie! 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 What are you, a cat? The gentle art of ignoring. This is fun. You know kind of why I started doing this? Well, Ollie's about 5, maybe 6, something like that. Maybe a little older. We got him from the shelter, so we're not really sure. There's a picture of him right back there, along with a picture of Emmy. I started doing this when I was down in Ventura. Because I was so focused on work, and I wanted to kind of break out of that a little bit, and I still am very focused, and I will be for all of 2020. This is kind of doing this is kind of like a hearkening back to an old familiar life. Not that the new life is one that I want to forget, but it's a very difficult life. It's like the path of wildness, pushing off into new territory. It's exciting, but it's also really scary and hard. So, doing this, making videos like this kind of is like, reminds me of the familiar past. Plus, this is what I call my season of philosophy, the time of life to record ideas and to share them, because I'll be gone very soon, which is a relative thing. Another valuable extra to put in the rucksack is a few yards of mosquito netting. This can be bought quite cheaply, sometimes called bride's veil, in the shops. See, the problem is I can't quite read like this person. I can't quite read like this person writes. Let me try an experiment real quick. Hold on. Wait here for just a second. Let's try a little experiment. I'm going to swip things up. Let's read just a little bit from The House of Seven Gables. I've never actually read. I found this at a used bookstore because I wanted to get a hardbound copy. So I've never actually read. I've read the book, but I read it in a paperback version, which I tore to shreds because I read it so much. But so I haven't actually opened this. It actually still has the new book creak. I think when I open it, creak. Let's read a little bit of this. I think I'm having a problem with this book because my brain isn't in cadence with the author's writing style. Yeah, it is very nice. I was really delighted to find it because this is one of my favorite books, and I wanted to have a hardbound version. The best books I want. I usually don't keep my books, but my best books I always try to keep. You can see there's my pile. You can't see it. It's behind the helmet. My reading pile. I keep back there. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to read a paragraph from this and see if it rolls off the tongue a little better. Let's read the opening paragraph of chapter 2, The Little Shop Window. And I just love Emerson's writing. This should be harder to read than this. This was probably written 80, 60, 70, 80 years before this. So the language is even more challenging. This language isn't flowery and what is the word? gratuitous. This is gratuitous in the best way. The little shop window. It still lacked half an hour of sunrise when Ms. Hepzibah Pyncheon, we will not say awoke, it being doubtful whether the poor lady had so much as closed her eyes during the brief night of midsummer, but at all events arose from her solitary pillow, and began what it would be mockery to term the adornment of her person. Oh, it feels so good. Far from us to be indecorum of assisting, even in imagination, and a maiden lady's toilet. This is it. This is the stuff, man. You know, it rolls off because it rolls off my mind so well. But I'm not going to get dissuaded or off track. I'm going to stick with this. Let's get through this because I want to explore new territory, and maybe I can catch up. Maybe I can get my mind around this. Another valuable extra to put in the rucksack is a few yards of mosquito netting. This can be bought quite cheaply, sometimes called bride's veil, in the shops, sometimes leno, whatever that is, sometimes butter muslin. What is leno? Leno? Leno. Leno, is that a fabric? Leno weave, also called gauze weave or cross weave, is a weave in which two warp yarns are twisted around the weft yarns to provide a strong yet sheer fabric. So this is kind of what leno is. Well, who cares? Carry on. Another valuable extra to put in the rucksack is a few yards of mosquito netting. This can be bought quite cheaply, sometimes called bride's veil, in the shops, sometimes leno, sometimes butter muslin. With this, you can defy the mosquito at nights, and by day you can enjoy the luxury of a sunbath siesta, watching the flies which cannot bite your nose. Apropos of the mosquito netting, the choice of hat is important. Do not take a cap. You need a brim. And do not take a straw hat. You cannot lay down comfortably with a straw hat on. A tweed hat is best. Tweed, huh? The brim has a double use. It shields your eyes from the sun, but also, when you lie down where flies and mosquitoes abound, you had best sleep in your hat and use the brim to lift the mosquito net an inch from your face. Huh. NB, what is that? And then in italics. NB, a tramping hat does not get old enough to throw away. The old ones are the best. Of course, once you have slept a night wearing your hat, it is not much more use for your town wear. It has become more tramp than you are. So a tramping hat is good for tramping for life, but after one use is no longer good for anything else. Seems like a good... You want to come up here? Come on. Come sit. Come on. Come on. Want to sit with me? Suddenly Ollie wants to play. Oops, hold on, it's going to fall off. Ollie, what were you doing out there? I heard Mama talking to you. What were you doing? You being a good boy? You're still kind of wet. I took him out in the rain, and he kind of pooped, and he got a little poop in his fur, so I had to give him a little bath. I am in favor of carrying a blanket. It is less cumbersome than a sleeping bag and more hygienic. Really? If, however, insects are very troublesome, as in the tropics, and there are land crabs, scorpions. What the hell's a land crab? Like those big giant crabs that wander around the tropics on the islands, on the sand, climb the trees. Land crabs, scorpions, tarantulas, and whatnot about. A light sleeping bag may be improvised by sewing together 3 sides of a pair of small sheets. This I have done. It gets rather airless and smelly. It is best to turn it inside out in the morning and give it plenty of sun. But a blanket will do. Take a couple if you are chilly. This makes weight on the back, but it is also a softening comfort. and fits the rucksack upon the shoulders on a long hike. Who would ever imagine not taking a sleeping bag? Sleeping, he calls it a sleeping sack. Remember, this was written in the 1920s. There is no point whatsoever in carrying an overcoat, though a waterproof cap or an oilskin comes in useful. A blanket and a cap form a useful combination. One can sleep on a cape with a blanket over one. The use of one, huh? One can do this, one can do that. In one of the little cotton bags, you will carry your toilet requisites, soap and towel and comb. Some men like to let their beard grow on a long tramp and thus dispense with razor and brush. Still, there are few things more refreshing than the cold shave at dawn. Really, the rushing stream, the lather scattering itself on ferns and flowers, the brandishing arm, the freshening cheek. That's worth reading again. That was a really beautiful bit of writing. Still, there are few things more refreshing than the cold shave at dawn, the rushing stream, the lather scattering itself on ferns and flowers, the brandishing arm, the freshening cheek. That is a really beautiful bit of writing. That's what it's all about, by the way. It's all about moments like that. And moments like this between you and me. Because you know, it's a brief and fleeting this time, you and me. See, it's gone already. Well, there's another one. And another. But it's not going to be forever. Yeah, so let's move on. A vital consideration at that time in the morning is the coffee pot. I am in favor of carrying an ordinary metal cafetiere. Let's look that up. What the hell? What is that? Something that has to do with coffee. Metal. Cafetiere, and it's got an accent point in there. Oh, one of those things. Excuse me. Yeah, we've seen those before. I didn't know that's what they were called. It's like a percolator maker. Percolator thing. Imagine that. So this guy wouldn't carry a sleeping bag in his bag, but he would carry one of these. I have a coffee kit in my pack too. Where was I? Okay. A vital consideration at that time in the morning is the coffee pot. Yeah, I would agree with that sentence for sure. I am in favor of carrying an ordinary metal cafetiere, whatever. Some prefer a kettle, but it bumps too much on the back. Others a pail, but the water in it is apt to get smoky. Oh, I guess so. Or maybe he means ashy. In the United States, there are so many clean, empty cans lying about that it is perhaps unnecessary to carry anything of the kind. Well, that's an interesting observation. Indeed, out in the desert, in fact, I'll show you guys a place. Let's open up Google Earth. Shall we? Yeah, I'm gonna go down here to do it. Like that's all the computer needs is to open a big app like Google Earth. It's already winding up. I think here it goes. It's opening. Wait a minute, I'm opening it from the wrong place. Google Earth. Come on, there you go. So it's opening up. Let's move it up here. Close that. And let's go find Siberia. hope that's showing. Let's see. Here, let's do this. Okay, it is. Okay, okay, these pins. Okay, there's Siberia right there. Can I flip the camera around? Give you guys the better camera? I can. Here we go. Okay. Oh wow, that works. So that's Siberia Ghost Town. I need to learn how you set up dual screens like you. It's not hard. Windows 10 and I think other versions of Windows have that capability. Just do multiple monitors. So here's Siberia Ghost Town right there. It is vast. That's the ruins of Siberia. This is when I go there overnight, I park my motorcycle right there. See this bush right here? See if I can get a little closer. This is where I always camp. You see there's a mark 1, 2, 3, 4 that make a little rectangle. That's where I always keep my tent at night. And when I do that as my base camp, when I go deep in the desert, I just leave the motorcycle there and I just hike out into the desert. But right over here, you guys might be able to see it. There's the Path of Wildness. Where is it? Can I see it? So I may have to get up a little higher, maybe a little over here. Where is it? Oh, the other dog wants in. Hold on. Yeah. Nope, there we go. It doesn't. He just want Ollie wanted out. Let's see if I can find the Path of Wildness. It's right over there somewhere. The resolution isn't quite as good as it could be. Oh, there. Huh, I'm not seeing it. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was right here. Remember he said how there's cans everywhere? This black bit right there, that is a huge pile of cans that have been discarded out in the desert by the former inhabitants. Cans and bottles, because this was a ghost town right there. So that's a dump. And then over here, this is the writing bridge right there. That's where I wrote Going Alone, and where I continue to write my new book, The Good Life. But I haven't been out there since November because of the new job, which is keeping me quite busy. Hey, I'm almost done. It's just, there's the end right there. Oh, all he likes to go into, I've got a little house for him right there. So he can sit next to me when I'm working, because he likes to hang out. And he feels comfortable in there. You happy down there? Okay, you gonna be a good boy? Yeah, you're always a good boy. The other dog's hanging out with you, Nico. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. He says, why bother even bringing coffee making material when there's just cans laying all around? Witnessed by that. It was about the same time. The cowboys never carry anything in the nature of a coffee pot. They confidently reckon on finding a lard can. Indeed, if you make camp in the west or south, where some have camped before you, the carefully preserved coffee of the last party can be used. The carefully preserved coffee? All America is camping out in the summer, so it is a simple matter to find the black patch of somebody else's erstwhile sleeping pitch. So how do you go from coffee to sleeping spot? However, I dislike the places where people have been before. Me too. Their orange peel and biscuit wrappings, their trampled glass and jaded scrub. Give me a virginal patch of woodland or moorland. Moorland? Where the hell are you going to find moorland? Is this guy British? A happy grassy corner of the long dusty road, and there startle the earwigs and the birds with the crackle of the first bonfire. Therefore, I consider it ideal to take a coffee pot with you, a metal one that gets blacker and blacker as you go along. It can best be carried outside the knapsack, dangling from the center strap, and resting in the hollow between the bulging pockets. Good to me. I can't get over how crisp and beautiful the quality of the video is. I had forgotten the enamel mug. I've got an enamel mug. The knife and the spoon, but you must not. Do not carry a fork. It is unnecessary. A small enamel plate is useful. Pepper and salt mixed to taste may be carried in a little bag. That's a good idea to mix the pepper and salt together. Some sort of, this is before the days of plastic, I think, right? So there would be no plastic containers. Some sort of, imagine a world without plastic. Take some sort of safe box for butter is to be recommended. Take plenty of old handkerchiefs or worse quality new ones. They come in useful. Remember a glove for taking the coffee pot off the fire. If you do not, you will be burning all your handkerchiefs, your hat, your shirt, or anything else that you may be tempted to use. There are occasions when the coffee pot seems to get almost red hot before it boils. Wow, hold on. I can feel that. Now this is a man who's long dead. Just to think that he had that memory of the coffee pot with the red hot handle before it even boils. Because I know that so well. It's like hearing somebody from the past speaking a poem that you know. And you realize that, what's the word? That German word for when you realize that another human being is a sentient agent just like you are. Because, we sometimes forget that, right? You kind of, like everybody else is kind of like like the Truman Show. Everybody else is kind of a player in this drama that's me. And then suddenly you kind of remember that those strangers passing by on the freeway, they're not automatons in their car. They are individuals to whom the center of everything is themselves. And, in that selfish kind of way. And reading a writer talking about an experience that I know so well like that kind of harkens back to that. There are occasions when the coffee pot seems to get almost red hot before it boils. There are giddy moments when it loses its balance and will topple over and spill its precious contents unless you are ready to dash it with gloved hand to save it. For the rest of the contents of your knapsack, you will be guided by your special desires and aims. Loaded and bulging in the morning, it will gradually feel lighter and look more shapely as movement sorts the various things into their best positions. At night, you turn out many things and use what remains as a pillow. Oh yeah. Some carry a pillow. Oh, it's like a pillow makes me tired. But it is too bulky, I agree. An air pillow is not to be despised. An air pillow? What kind of air pillow would they have in the 20s? Hi, Mike. But generally, an air pillow is not to be despised, but it generally seems to let you down during the night. Your knapsack will grudge being left in the dew. It will feel happier with your head resting upon it. That's it. So that was a whole chapter, kind of a treatment of the knapsack. Now, let's take a look real quick at this person, Stephen Graham, the author. Let's see. Is this the guy? Oh yeah. Russian group of pilgrims, travel writer, essayist. Let's see. Stephen Graham, March 19th, 1884 to March 15th, 1975, was a British journalist, travel writer, essayist, and novelist. His best-known books recount his travels around pre-revolutionary Russia and his journey to Jerusalem with a group of Russian Christian pilgrims. Most of his works express his sympathy for the poor, for agricultural laborers, and for tramps, and his distaste for industrialization. Sounds like the guy. Yeah, is it the tramp sketches, his books? What is this book called? The Gentle Art of Tramping. Is it in the list? It's got to be in the list. He wrote. There it is. He wrote a lot of books. Wow. Does it say he was a Russian? Oh no, British journalist. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's take a look, see what his photo looked like. Not a photo, but image. Just a little sketch. Takes a while to load. Anyway, so that's him. So the next chapter. Oh wait, there he is. Seems like there's more than one Stephen Graham. Oh, there he is. Myth and More: The Gentle Art of Tramping. Interesting. So one more thing I was going to do tonight, before I wrap this night up, is go over one of the principles from Going Alone. So in the book, there's a chapter called The Good Life. That's the same good life that I recite every morning to myself. That's 7 objectives and 23 principles. See, it's back here in the back. It's too far. That's too near. Is that it? Oh, there we go. So, how's the new job? The new job is good. Thanks for asking, Mike. Very challenging. Taking all of my time. Literally, it's like being a young man in a new career. But I like it. I have my moments when when I wonder if I'm up to the challenge. But for the most part, I think I'm doing it good. So here we go. The first one. This is objective number 1. Be always ready to die. Let me read it, talk about it a little bit, and then I'll sign off. Be always ready to die. At all times, have every important life affair in order, my decided purpose, my household and finances, as well as my connections, obligations, responsibilities, and commitments. Have also my art in a state of readiness to carry on as my only real legacy and potential lasting memory after I am gone. My last photo taken, my last sketch complete, my final word penned and saved. No letters left to write, no goodbyes left to speak, no one left to hug. To be ready now and at a moment's notice, to loosen my grip when life is done all at once, and then fall into darkness without a single backwards glance, or backwards thought, or longing backwards memory. So with that principle, which is my objective, which is my very first objective that I always remind myself of, I want to be assured that if a virus gets me now, and I find myself taking fever and coughing and hopping to bed, that I can begin that downward climb, that downward slide, ready to let loose from everything. No grasping wish to do something else. You're too strong for this virus, Kurt. Thank you, Mike. The year Stephen Graham was born to 1975, seems like he experienced a lot. Yeah, that would be a long period, interesting period to experience, huh? Now, Mike, if not that, something, and something could happen. I'm already older than my father was, and he was very, very strong. But accidents happen. It's the way it is. I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I know you. I'm sure you do know what I mean, right? And it really is to put it into practice. I mean, I do I'm scared by these stories, with the the virus. Not so much the fear of death, more the way that, of dying, I won't go into details, but that's not a very pleasant way to go. Are you scared? Are you scared to go? Is that the question? Are you scared to go? I don't think there's anywhere to go. So I'm not scared to go because I think it's just going to be an eternal emptiness. It's going to be exactly what it was like before I was born, which is nothing but forever. So I'm not afraid of that. In the words of Christopher Hitchens, I was I think it was Christopher who said he was dead for, 13.8 billion years beforehand, and it didn't do him any harm, or maybe it was Richard Dawkins that said that. I'm not afraid, but I do want to make sure that I've made good use of the time. I describe it like that too, Kurt. You took the words right out of my mouth. I don't know how I felt in 1900 either. Exactly. Neither of us are afraid of 1900, right? When we didn't exist. Nor am I afraid of 2100 when I won't exist again. But what will exist is the reverberation, the echo of our efforts in our life and the decisions that we make. And I want to be very careful about that whatever slight reverberation, is going on 100 years after I am gone is something more of a positive bent than anything else. Your memory and knowledge will live on. Perhaps. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, if you haven't written a book, there's a great deal of satisfaction in doing this and in completing a book. Until everyone has forgotten about you, then you're kind of still alive. Yeah, there's that moment you have that last thought, that the last time anybody ever thinks about you, right? I think about my dad sometimes, and when eventually, not too far long from now, there'll be the last person to remember him. I don't know that anybody can remember my great-great-grandparents' names, although there's some people on my dad's side that maybe have that stuff. Yeah. But this is kind of this is doing something like this, especially if it's kind of like a manifesto of what you distilled out of life. It really does. It's like creating a little time capsule, and putting all the treasures, in this case of your mind, if I can call it that, the best of the stuff of 50 years of distilled in effort, and put it in here, and then make a whole bunch of copy of it and send it out. And there's some chance that 100 years from now, one of those bottles will wash up on the shore, and a small boy or a small girl will find it, and they'll creak it open, and they'll say, the good life, eh? Well, let's hear about the good life, and then your words, whatever it is that was important to you, suddenly come back to someone else. I will be reading your book for many years to come and making sense of it. Well, I imagine AI will make a lot more sense than me. So, yeah, but thank you. That's nice. Let's just take one more shot at Siberia. I want to show you guys something. I'm sorry it's not as steady as it could be. Let's see if I can put this right here, if I can lift it up a little bit, if it'll be a little more stable. I want to show you guys something. Okay, you kind of see it. That's Siberia, right? If we scroll up here, okay, in the book I talk about the deep water wilderness. This is the edge of deep water here. This is the BNSF Railroad right there. And this area out here is the deep water wilderness. This is the edge of deep water right here. And out here we can see these pins. Yeah, no, Mike, there's not much out there. And these are pretty great distances. I mean, this is, I'll show you Campo #1. If you read my book, I'm not trying to plug the book, just seeing Fig and Facts. This is Campo #1, right. Is that campo number 1? No, a little further. Hold on. Yeah, a little further. There it is. This is campo number 1 right here. And there is the, oh, there it is. Do you see this little thing right there? That's the remains of an old mine shack. And when I go deep, I use this as my base camp. I set my tent up right there. In fact, you can kind of see I think again, you can kind of see some of the stones that I use on the outer edge there. But it's a good place to camp because, oh no, Camry, there's nobody out there. There's nothing out there. Do you see how this is an island? And it's on the lee side of the island, so if the flash floods come, they'll go around. They won't get you. And you're also safe from the wind, which tends to come from over here. This is really, really desolate, empty, nothing out here. There's nothing. If I can do this and move around, kind of see. And then, I'm not trying to rude her, but is your wife a bit like you? You don't have to answer. Is my wife a bit like me? To make sure I understand what you're saying. No, she's not at all like me. Except my wife. The only thing that my wife and I have really in common is our ethics. And that's what's kept us together all these years. You know, she and I are solidly aligned in our values, but she has no interest in going out here and doing any of this. No interest in philosophy or anything. Although she's an incredibly wise human being. Anyway, I am. And this is the cold gate right here, and this is the Valley of the Soulless Beasts right here. This right here, this is the furthest I've ever been. There's a video that I did. If we go over here to my channel, blink, come in. Takes a second to load. There's a video I did called what was it called? Well, that's going to take forever. It was one of the last long hike videos. It's about 2 hours long. This is the furthest that I made it. That spot right there. Where is the bridge with the book? Oh, have you ever found a dead body from there? I did find it. I found some human bones under the bridge where he used to sit a lot. Yeah, I can show you the bridge. So this is the farthest I've ever been in the desert. My goal is to get over these mountains, which are very, very formidable mountains. I've got to get over them to a place called Mount Wildness. And you guys are the first people I've ever shown this to. This is Mount Wildness right here. A place I've never been. But I'm striving to get there. Because Mount Wildness represents it's a literary thing for me. This is the near side of Mount Wildness, and over here is the far side of Mount Wildness. But you can see that there's this range of mountains that I have to get through. I know you would take a first aid kit fully stocked when you go out there. No, I don't. I don't have a first aid kit. So anyway, you're asking where the bridge is. Let's go back to Siberia. Okay, not there. So this is Siberia Ghost Town. Right there. This is, I showed you guys before, this is where I park the motorcycle right here. This is my camping spot right beside the bush. You can see the rocks there. The bridge where I do all the riding, if you just take out from there, you strike out straight across here, across the desert. There's a grave right there. So someone's been buried. I wonder if I can see it. I don't think I could make it out, but there's a grave right there. And then the bridge is right there. That's my bridge. Yeah, a first aid kit is probably a good idea, but then it's also probably a good idea not to go alone. But I'm not known for always doing good ideas. Have you ever looked at the Japanese mountains you used to walk in? In this? Sure, yeah, I'll show you where that is. Let's go take a look at that. So, leaving the desert behind. Aha, I know that already. There's California. Let's go across the sea, too far, to a good old place called Japan. Ooh. And it's taking a second for it to resolve. Shizuoka should be right there. Taking just a second. There we go. No. But yeah, I have looked at it. You know what? It's kind of a disappointing tour because the visibility isn't so good. I don't know if Google just doesn't have the resolution quality. You know, like, look how long it's taking to load. Maybe I won't be able to show you the way it's taken so long. Maybe not. But, you know, and also everything is so, over there in Japan, everything is so just green and foresty and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Zoom. Let's see. There we go. Spin the globe. Here's the Milky Way. Pale blue orb. Wow, that's pretty cool. I never noticed they had the Milky Way back there. That'd make a nice screensaver. Well, what time is it? 9:31 already? I think it's time for me to go to bed. My dog said goodnight to Ollie. Such a stark contrast from green mountains to the desert. Yeah, it is. Ollie, you ready? Want to go to bed? Want to go to bed soon? Tired? I think we should go to bed. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I appreciate you dropping by and spending some time with me. And for now, I'm gonna say goodnight. Shut everything down. Kiss my wife. Kiss my daughter. Someone said, "Did you ever get to look up Ram Dass?" No, I didn't. What is Ram Dass? Thank you very much for the aerial tour, the book reading, and most interesting and caused me to ponder and ruminate about matters past, present, and future. Good night, Kurt and everyone. Good night, Eric. And good night. And I will look up Ram Dass right now. Good night. You would identify with Ram Dass, I think. Somebody's telling me I did look that up. Yeah, that's hashtag 56. Take care, everybody. I'll look it up right now. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe. Good night. Oh, good day. Or good morning. Or whatever. I'll check it out, Mike. See ya.